Check this out, guys. On day 2, I told you people are going to start copying this. Unsuccessful attempt, but I guarantee we're going to see more of this technique. Anyway, this is the action for day 2 of the Masters. Just remember, if you're looking for a discount to Judo TV, it's in the description. Also, I was at the Judo gi maker Kuzakura the other day, talking to them about selling their gis. So when I have all that set up, it'll be in the description of my videos, so check it out. Anyway, let's get into the action. Check out how long Nagase has this pistol grip for. You can see it right here. I didn't notice it at first, but I mean, that's a pretty clear pistol grip. Keeps it for a very long time. And Nagase on this day, I definitely think his strategy going out was to look more aggressive, get scores early, and be kind of a more positive, faster fighter. I think recently he's lost a few matches from just shidos, kind of looking a little bit passive. So I think he's trying to clear that issue up a little bit. So we'll talk about Nagase a little bit later in the video. First, we'll just get into some upsets. So this is Oyoshi Ken at under 73 going out in his first contest. And also Lombardo. This was a very slick counter by his opponent. Let's have a look at it again. I mean, that's really slick. And lastly, guys, before we get into the results and some incredible ippons, Heidorov, he goes out here for having long hair. He didn't tie it up. I saw him competing with it tied up, but I don't think it's that bad of a length. He could totally compete like this, but well, the referees, I mean, they thought he wasn't keeping it together, and he gets a third shido here. Unfortunate. Alright, we'll switch things up today. We'll start off with some ippons before we get into the results. So Hungary, here, I mean, he eye pokes Kohara, and it looks kind of bad. He did get talked to by the ref about it, bit of a stern warning. And then Kohara with the beautiful kosoto, double kosoto. So a little bit of revenge there. This one here, nice, Tani Otoshi, huge. That's a big one. Osoto Makikomi now by Tereshishvili. Kataguruma here. And I do want to call this the Italian Kataguruma because that direction, the Italians, they all do it. They kind of made that move really popular. Usually Kataguruma, you're going backwards instead of forwards through your opponent. Bit of a driving Ochiari and then to a kosoto here. Very deep grips. And this one here, beautiful Surigoshi. Look at that. Picture perfect. Okay, so we'll talk about the results and a couple of the contests. I thought there were some interesting things throughout the day. First, we'll talk about Sendoche and Hashimoto. So this was really unfortunate for Sendoche. I thought he was really putting the pressure on Hashimoto, but he got done for bear hugging. And in my personal opinion, I think the bear hug rule needs to go. Wasn't it brought in the first place to stop people just immediately tackling and going for the legs? And in Judo, these days you can't grab the legs, so I don't see the point in having the bear hug rule. Maybe I'm wrong, I can't quite remember why it was introduced, but I think if we just allow people to grab the upper body however they want, we'll see more throws, more dynamic Judo, and it'll be better for the sport. So Hashimoto got through Sendoche, had some pretty boring fights, had a score here, and then, I mean, his best performance was probably in the semi-finals here, gets an ippon, but it wasn't a throw, it's just kind of countering, taking advantage of his opponent's bad positioning, and the final ended, like usual for Hashimoto, 3 shidos to his opponent. So I don't want to criticize the man, I'm not sure exactly what it is, he is getting up there in age, but sometimes he just finds himself in this kind of rhythm where he plays a shido game, doesn't try to throw people, and this is how he wins. One of the bronze medals at 73 went to Shavdat Twashvili. He had a relatively decent day. He lost to Yoldoshev by shido. And here we have a great throw from him, Ochi-Aishi. And this is in the repechage. And then leading into his bronze medal match, another throw for him. A really nice Sasai, Surikomiyashi. And actually this was the technique that Takoto won his bronze medal contest with the day before. Something I've got to experiment with myself a little bit. Right versus right. It is difficult sometimes when you both grip up and you're both kind of extreme right. There's not a lot of options there. But this one technique is a good one. The other bronze medal went to Palivan from Moldova. And next we'll talk about 81 a bit. Bit of controversy here and something I kind of want to just talk about a little bit. So in this contest, Schmidt versus Nagase, and I definitely think Schmidt won this match. He wins by forcing a shido onto Nagase, Schmidt putting in some good attacks. But in Schmidt's next contest against Grigolashvili, it was a similar kind of situation, golden score, And I think a lot of the attacks, I'll show them to you shortly, that Schmidt was putting in just weren't good attacks. He was just kind of dropping down for the sake of trying to force the Shido onto Grigolashvili. And this is where the third Shido comes against Nagase. A good attack by Schmidt, a nice Tomoe Nage attempt. But I do have a problem with this rule because once it's 2 Shidos apiece, someone finds a way just to jump down in first. They're not going to throw, but they're doing enough to put someone off balance, which looks good in the referee's eyes. But this one here, this drop down by Schmidt, I do think they should change the definition of the rule a little bit. If someone goes in for a technique and you're still standing on 2 feet, I think it should be considered a false attack. And I also have a bit of an extreme opinion that when it comes to medal matches, like bronze medal matches, and of course the gold medal matches, I think a match should never be decided on Shido. I think they should just go until someone throws someone. I also think they should consider Newaza a little bit more into this equation. So if someone drops down, like here for example, and Grigolashvili initiates the Newaza, then they should consider that a positive action as well. And then I think you're going to see more people attack Newaza, and more people make mistakes because they feel like they have to initiate the Newaza, and then the person on bottom kind of takes advantage of that situation. I think that would open things up a little bit more. So in my opinion, these last 5 attacks from Schmidt, this one included, all false attacks. This one here, false attack, and another one, false attack. So that's it for Grigolashvili. He gets a 3rd Shido here, and I definitely think this is not a good thing in the rule set right now. I mean, Schmidt, good job for him. Played it well against Nagase, played it well against Schmidt. And I definitely agree with Grigolashvili here. I think Schmidt should have definitely gotten a 3rd Shido somewhere along there. Anyway, while we're on the topic of Grigolashvili, here are some highlights from his earlier round, 1 round. All these Seoi Nages from the 1 round. And it's just incredible that he can do Seoi Nage both left and right. And then this was a bronze medal contest against Kohara. I think it's a bit disappointing for Kohara, obviously losing here against Grigolashvili. But in the other bronze medal contest, and I'll show you the ippon for that shortly, Nagase, he took out Malai. So if it was the other way around, you might start to see Kohara kind of overtake Nagase a little bit, but that's definitely not the case here. Nagase still the front runner. And I definitely think he still should be. I mean, with ippons like this against Malai, I mean, sometimes Nagase, he just pulls it out of the bag, has incredible ippons, and other times, I mean, I think he's got some challenging matchups that he just needs to kind of figure out before heading into the Olympics. Also, I haven't mentioned him at all during this video yet, but Cass, he took gold. Still, obviously, a really high-level competitor at under 81s. And he does it in style in the finals against Schmidt. Schmidt couldn't do what he did to Grigolashvili, and Nagase gets thrown here for Wazari with a beautiful Tomoe Nage. At under 63, Takaichi, she took out Agebenu, which is an achievement in itself, deep into golden score. But then she ended up losing in the final to Fazliu from Kosovo, who also took out Horikawa. So taking out 2 Japanese, 1 in the semi, 1 in the final. Very, very impressive for such a small country. So bronze for Horikawa and bronze for Agebenu, and of course the silver for Takaichi. At under 70, we had Nizoi, and this is kind of an interesting fact, but over the last couple of years we've had this really tall guy coming to our dojo, really strong, from Tsukuba University, and his name is Nizoi, and I didn't put the 2 together, but he's actually Nizoi's brother, and we found this out just not too long ago. Anyway, can someone please tell me what happened in the semi-final against Van Dyke? Because, I mean, the referee here pointing to the head, but, I mean, I didn't see any head diving, or, I mean, what is it? I really don't get it. Please, someone, let me know in the comments. So Nizoi, unfortunately, taking bronze, and the other bronze going to Shevchenko, but it was really the story of Van Dyke demolishing some of her opponents, going all the way through to the finals and winning it. So that's it from me, guys. If you're still listening, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the action on day 3. Peace.